I didn't feel earlier. I told you we'll be having a very important discussion, something very, very important. And the reason is, it's something that has to do with fashion, but we are tilting it just a little bit. And someone is here in the studio, but before I introduce him, let me say a few things. Fashion is one aspect of human existence that is characterized by change. Before now, fashion was used to identify with a people's culture and traditions. In the African context, a red cap decorated with a feather or a spike from a porcupine symbolizes royalty and is greeted with much respect. Chiefs, kings, and servants had different fashion trends that clearly differentiated their social status. And fashion has greatly evolved during the last 2 decades, with the increase in the number of trendsetters and their audience base, especially with the help of the internet and social media. New fashion trends pop up every now and then, and some people follow these trends without thinking of the effects. And today, many people want to look hot, classy, fly, or slay, as they all say, in what they wear. Very high shoes, tight clothing, and excessive makeup, if you would add, are some of the trends that give such looks. Unfortunately, these things may have adverse effects on the health of people who wear them. All right, hence our topic for today, which I titled Fashion Trends and their health implications. And to discuss this with me is Dr. Victor Moffat Akpan. He is a health expert with passion for health education and that sensitizes the masses on health education and raise the life expectancy. Of course, he is also the chief medical director of Duke Shama Hospital here in Abuja. He's a public affairs analyst as well as a peace and conflict resolution expert. He helps NGOs to promote peaceful coexistence through sensitization workshops. Please join me to welcome Dr. Akpan, and he's here to talk about all that we have mentioned in the studio. You're welcome to the program,
Thank
sir.
you. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you.
I stated a lot of things. I said a lot of
Okay.
fashion trends,
Yes.
right,
Yeah.
going on. I've listed just a few.
Okay.
Makeup, as much as we all love
Very
to.
many of them.
But I want you, as the professional on the hot seat right now, to,
Yeah.
just tell us some of these things that we do that are not, that have adverse effects. And we'll take it up from
Yeah, thank you very much. We have quite a lot of them in the society. In fact, time will not really permit us to because it's a whole lot of topic that can take like weeks for us to educate members of the public very well. Now, recently, as we have already mentioned, we have quite a lot of fashion trends that people don't really know about the negative implications, on their bodies. For instance, we start with like wearing high heel shoes, you understand. Now, the feet or the feet particularly, anatomically, have a way they should be, even when you are walking. You have the ligaments, how they should be moving per time. So many a time, high heel shoes, you understand, tends to cause problems because of wrong positioning. Then, I wouldn't want to dwell much on that, but we have others that are really, really, worrying. For instance, excessive makeup.
Okay.
So women tend to go to markets, buy all manner of makeups, whether lipstick or this or that, powder, cream, and the rest of them. And they put it on the body or they rub on the body. Now, all these costume, as it were, they have certain chemical composition. You understand? And this composition, they are harmful to the skin. They are harmful to health. The skin have what we call skin spore. You understand? So whatever you put on top of it, even water, it absorbs it. And it goes into the system, it goes into the bloodstream, and the blood goes around the body. So these chemicals will now go around to the brain, to the eyes, to the heart, and cause, a lot of damage. You've been seeing recently people having, for instance, kidney failure. You understand? And the members of the mass or members of the society will be asked to come and donate for kidney transplant and so on and so forth. This is one of it. Then, scarification, which the popular tattoo is
Okay.
another
Yes, I
one
was coming
now.
to that.
Yeah. So now, if you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people in the society, you see tattoo on their body. Now, what is it for? We don't know. You understand? Now,
Mm.
it is a kind of piercing, or you may call it scarification. Do you understand? An instrument is used. Now, many times, the sterilization of this instrument is not assured.
Mm.
Do you understand? And it pierces the body. So it can transmit certain diseases. For instance, maybe hepatitis B, hepatitis C, and all other diseases from one person to another. Because there's no guarantee. Even if you get there, they tell you all manner of things. There is no mechanism to check. Is it okay in the first place?
Mm.
Then two, the effects on the body too. Now, if you write something on your body, fine, it's for fashion. Nobody is against that person. But what we are saying here is a negative implication. And many a time, these people are not aware. They just see it as a fashion. They like it. They love it. Of course, let me go and do what my friend has done, and so on and so forth. And when the negative effect is coming back, I mean, it's bad for us. Now, in this part of the world, we have been battling with low life expectancy.
Mm.
You find out that you will agree with me
Mm.
as a media practitioner. Every now and then you see, is it obituary or this and that?
Mm.
Check their age, 40 something, early 50s, and so on and so forth. But go to America now. I have been there. Now, check their life expectancy. You understand? 80 something, 90 something, 80 something, 90 something. As a matter of fact, we have a lot of people who are gainfully employed as caregivers to take care of the elderly. Yeah, they have that program there. You understand?
Yeah.
The elderly so much in the society. Why are we are not living long? This is one of them.
All right. We have too many fashion trends.
Yes.
You've talked about the tattoos, but I want you to dwell more. This like expatiate more on the adverse effect health wise.
Yeah, they have many. One, you could talk of infection,
Mm.
specifically like hepatitis B.
Mm.
You understand? Because it is transmitted through this route. Maybe sharing needles, infected needles,
Mm.
infected blood, and so on and so forth. So, for instance, now, if I want to believe it's like a needle or a biro or whatever, of course, it must pierce the body.
Mm.
Do you understand?
Yes.
So, definitely, you are likely to have blood stain. So, I pick it there. Now, another customer comes in for me to write the tattoo. I cross over, you understand, not necessarily sterilizing the instrument.
Mm.
Or even if you do, we have some organisms that, for you to kill them off, the level of sterilization must be very high to be able to kill it, like Ebola virus.
Mm-hmm.
So, now, how are we sure they do this? They don't. Then I will now pierce another person or write tattoo on another person.
Mm.
Now you see, I have transmitted hepatitis B now from one patient or one person to another unknowingly or in the name of fashion.
Mm.
You understand?
Yeah.
Then that is one part of it.
Mm.
Then apart from hepatitis B, also you also have other diseases which, okay, fine, we may not really have time to dwell, but we just want to create awareness of the implications. You could get a lot of infections. I have mentioned one, and the others at times will not, permit us to, mention them. But that is one part of it.
All right. We've talked about tattoos. Let's talk about these surgeries that people do lately.
Yes.
A lot of people do, in fact, lip surgery. Yes, they want to enhance their lips. Some people want to have thicker lips.
Yeah.
Some people want to have bigger boobs, if I have to call that, or bigger
Yeah,
behind.
a number of them.
A number of them.
I do.
Yes, how there are adverse effects of these things. Let us know about them.
You've said it all here. Now, all these have negative implications.
Mm.
So, but unfortunately, people dwell in it. So, you now have to enlarge your breast for whatever reasons. Okay? There's what we call implants. Yeah, it is sterile, no doubt. You understand? But once it is fixed inside the body, it becomes what we call foreign body.
Okay.
You understand? Whether it is in the eye, in the brain, there's a foreign body there. And whenever there is a presence of a foreign body in the system, the body reacts. That is why you drink water that is contaminated. You understand? For instance, you like going, you start going to toilet, every now and then because there's a foreign body coming in to disturb the system, as it were. So it becomes a foreign body, irrespective of how it is sterilized and so on and so forth. The cells start reacting. They start reacting. As a matter of fact, even the people fixing it will advise you that after 2-3 years, you should come back for them to check whether all is well or not well. Do you understand? Because they are aware of the implications. So these has caused, cancers, because by the time you put it there, some cells would no longer work as it's supposed to. Some cells will start dying off. And once cells die off, you understand, it starts degenerating, forming other things, you understand. Then the implant itself is texturized, you understand. It's made up of certain, silicone and the rest of them. Do you understand? It's a chemical substance as well. As I have mentioned earlier, it's a foreign body. It can harm the body in one way or the other. Therefore, a lot of people have contracted cancers and so on and so forth, gangrene, what we call gangrene, that is death of a part, of a body, and the rest of them through implants. Then, you've also mentioned about, is it the boobs or the Botox enlargement and so on and so forth. This is also another one, People still do it for a particular fashion, for beauty and so on and so forth. But what is the effect?
There's something I've also observed.
Yes.
This one might not be foreign body.
Yeah.
I've observed that there's even a very popular doctor in Lagos, in Nigeria here, that would have to take out fat from a particular part of your body and
we call
implant
it liposuctioning.
Yes.
Yeah.
So doesn't this also have any effect, or is it completely?
It has effects. Yeah, it is true. You could have obesity, that's whereby you have excess fat in the body. Now, it affects the health, no doubt. But you see, taking it off, through that way is also risky. Because by the time you introduce the machine and you start sucking the fat, this is a machine. It damages the cells of the body in the process as well. For instance, I know that one of the complications is also infection. Do you understand?
Yeah.
They end up having infection, then they end up having, tissue destructions and the rest of them in the process of, sucking out the fat. Now, what we teach people, what we educate people, even though you may not really get excellent result from it, is the natural way of burning fat, which has to do with exercise. You understand? If you exercise a lot, definitely, you burn off a lot of fat.
Okay.
Then you also have lifestyle modification, the kind of food you eat that could also help you to reduce the accumulation of fat in the body. This is what we advise, we counsel people, we teach them. Do you understand? Liposuctioning is done even in America. For instance, the hospital I was in America, Dr. Lee does it very well. But then, the effects. Do you understand? Certain things work outside the country and it doesn't work here. Why? Because of environment and personal hygiene of our people. The Americans can do it, they get away with it, they don't have, because of their personal hygiene and their environment and their standard. Do we have them here? No.
All right. There's another one I want to talk about, and that's the enlargement of the lips. People do a lot. What is the adverse effect? I know, of course, it's related, but then it has something to do.
It still come down to what we have discussed before. By the time you enlarge, you see the organs have natural size, makeup, and the rest of them. Anatomically, physiologically, have their function. So by the time you distort, by enlarging it, do you understand? Whether it is a plastic surgery, do you understand, or whichever way. You see, to enlarge means that you must take a part somewhere and add to make it big. Like grafting. It works, no doubt. But what are we talking about here is the adverse effect. Do you understand? Now, I think in a society we have a little, a common adage that says that you can't eat your cake and have it, or you can also have your cake and eat it, whichever way. Now, you cannot have your cake here and you finish eating it and you come back tomorrow and you still see it here. No, it's gone, it's gone. So, this is it. So, by the time you have this one now, the effect, one, the cancer, the infection, the gangrene, and all manner of destructive, tendency to health.
Mm.
So if you destroy your health, this is it. I don't think anybody will advise that. So bear in mind that it leads to cancer,
Mm.
infection,
Mm.
and once cancer comes, it's from one point, but it goes around the body.
Mm.
Infection from one point, it goes around the body. And funny enough, or funnily enough, as it were, most of these things, you understand, are not done in conjunction with health experts. That okay, let's just come in and give you, some advice
Mm.
on, how to go about it. You understand?
Yeah.
They have no medical background
Mm.
training. They just do it.
All right, we'll have to go on this break, and when we come back, we'll open the phone lines for you to make your contributions and tell us what you feel. Or maybe you have one or two questions you want to ask about. We'll talk more about these fashion trends and their implications. All right, when we return, we'll continue the show.
This is Ibrahim calling from Niger State, Barking Power.
Oh, this is Anita from Benin.
My name is John, calling from Niger.
My name is Ahmed. I'm calling from Kogi State.
This is Clearview TV, and this is our spread through free-to-air via Niconsat and online.
Yes, this is Diffus calling you from Adamawa State. Adamawa Ahmad Ibrahim.
Mala Ahmad Ibrahim daga wace jiha kenan?
Daga Yobe.
I'm calling from Benue. My name is Chukwemeka. I'm calling from Niger State.
You can imagine how far your advertisements, social announcements, official notices, and jingles will go if you patronize us. It's time to take your messages far at the cheapest rate.
Hello, Africa. Hello, Africa. Tell me how you do, Africa.
It's still Hello Africa, and Dr. Akpan is still here in the studio telling us about some health implications of some of the things you want to do, some of those things you just want to enjoy because you want to look beautiful or want to be attractive. You're saying something about the infections that are gotten from all kinds of enlargements. People
Yes.
do all kinds of enlargements these days. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about creams. You said there are certain chemicals we apply to the body, and they have adverse effects. Let's
Yes.
break it down. How does this work, and what are these effects?
Yes, talking about cream, for instance, now I talk about chemical substances. Now, we may not mention them one by one, you understand, but just in quotes, chemical substances. You have body cream. For example, we all know that we all have normal body cream that doesn't have any effect. You understand? You have the gel and so on and so forth. For instance, Vaseline is even helpful to the skin.
Okay.
It protects the skin from sunburn and other things. You understand the jelly?
Yes.
Okay. Then you also have normal, body cream that has been enriched with certain vitamins like the vitamin E and so on and so forth. Those are normal body cream. So there's never a time any health practitioner will, condemn. You understand? Because we know that one is good. But you also have this other one that is disturbing. It's sold all over here. The bleaching cream, irrespective of how they come, whether in lotion, whether in cream, with cheap cream and so on and so forth, that they have been, cook up, let's use the word cook up, with a lot of chemical substances. Yeah, it does the bleaching, no doubt, because of the chemical substance, it does. But what are the implications here? Now, certain chemicals, certain things in the skin, the natural thing that helps the skin to function properly, are destroyed by the cream on the process of bleaching. You understand? So now when these things are destroyed, the skin is a defense mechanism for the body that fights, doesn't allow infection to come into the body and the rest of it, you understand. It helps to regulate the body temperature and so on and so forth. So when the cells of the skin are destroyed, the skin cannot function properly. It starts getting weak. You understand? Some people have wrinkles just because of bleaching cream, because you see the elasticity of the skin have been disturbed, have been, disorganized. So it leads to the same cancer we are talking about, skin cancer, this and that, and many other diseases, which, as I said, time may not also.
No, you can use it all the time you want, at least to explain this, because some people, do certain things, and like we said, they don't really understand these implications, the implications of some of the things they do. So you can give us some of those diseases aside cancer, which is very glaring that it causes. What are the other things? Some time ago I heard that, for instance, if someone who bleaches and the skin cells are dead, is involved in maybe an accident, it will be very difficult to have an operation. How true is even that?
Well, I wouldn't dwell much on that so that I don't give you information, but let me put it this way. Now, the common thing is that the skin has a function, which I have mentioned here. Temperature regulation, you understand, even the sweat, to send certain waste, substances out of the body. Do you understand?
Yes.
That's what called the physiological function of the skin. There are very many. Do you understand? So, but by the time you apply the cream, now it starts disturbing, disorganizing the physiological function of the skin. So many things in the body will not work properly. What's supposed to go out of the body is not going out and is, staying back. So it's not only cancer, as you have mentioned. Do you understand? Of course, if you're supposed to send certain thing out, it can lead to toxins. It can lead to kidney failure. It can lead to liver failure as well. So it's not only cancer. It leads to many other things.
All right. Let's strike a balance. Yeah. Some people actually would say, I know some people would be wondering, it's all right, we can use this. Does it mean we shouldn't, wear this or wear that? When you talked about heels, I'm sure a lot of ladies will be watching and say, what is he saying? Are you telling us not to wear heels?
Yes. Okay. Now, like that of high heel, for instance. Now, if you are to put it on, let's look at the duration. What duration?
Okay.
If you put on high heel shoe today, then for the rest of 2, 3, 4 days, no high heel shoe, fly shoes. I think I will be satisfied with that.
Okay, so.
But if it is too much, of course, it's going to affect you because of the position of the feet.
Okay, let me give myself as an example.
Oh, yeah.
Something happened some time ago. I think 3 years back, I had to, I had an event that lasted for like 7 hours, and I needed to walk around, and I needed to wear heels for 7 hours. Yes. Truth be told, after that event, I had a pain in the leg for God knows how long, and it wasn't a funny experience. But let me say, can you give us like on a daily basis how long a person or somebody should wear heels? Maybe the duration it should be. You said in say 3 days, maybe you wear heels once, but in a day, how long should it be?
Oh well, the time frame I wouldn't really know specifically, but I will only advise if you wear a high heel for 2 to 3 hours or at most 4 hours, I think it's worth changing. You understand? Because of the position yourself, because the ligaments are not really functioning, properly. So they get stuck. You understand, to a particular position. So that will also affect, the circulation. That's why, for instance, in your own experience, you had the pains because of what I may call wrong positioning over time.
Yes.
So it wasn't changed. You understand?
Yes.
The ligaments, the joint, they should be active almost on minute per minute.
All right. So let's check the balance also with creams. There are some creams these days, you said chemical substances.
Yes, inside the cream, of course.
These days people say some creams can bleach, but they have, what they call it, they have natural ingredients. a lot of people have come up with creams or soaps or anything you can apply to the body that have natural ingredients. Where do we strike a balance with
Yes,
this?
the balance will have to be, for instance, in the field of medicine, you have the dermatologist all over here. If I am to produce a particular cream, I will assemble the health experts after the initial, production. Take it to your laboratory, get it tested. What have you found out from the cream? You understand? The health benefits, the health implication. Then the expert will advise you, this is what we have found out. It's capable of destroying this organ, but it's also capable of helping this one to grow. Then, scientifically now, this can be repackaged. Remove this one, bring in this one. Now, if you are to produce a cream, whether it bleaches or not, but we are talking about the benefits, not the risk. But whereby the risk outweigh the benefit, then it's questionable.
Yeah.
But if the benefit outweigh the risk, it's not questionable.
Okay.
So it's the benefit we are talking about here, not the risk.
All right, so let's talk about another thing. These days people also use lashes,
Yes.
eye contact.
Yes, yes.
Some people say, when you have more lashes, the reason for lashes is actually so that it will prevent more dust, if I'm correct, especially from medical.
It doesn't.
It prevents certain things
No,
from
it
entering
doesn't.
the eye.
It doesn't.
Okay.
It doesn't. There's no guarantee.
Okay.
What prevents anything from entering the eyes, the glasses?
Okay.
You understand? Medicated or ordinary, we still have ordinary one that so it's medically fabricated, for use to prevent dust or foreign body or anything from entering the eye. The eyelashes does not in any way. As a matter of fact, it's even harmful because it has to be fixed. You use something like paste or like super glue to get it attached. So in the process of removal, you understand, it can also damage the natural eyelashes. Or in the process of fixing or removing, you can also injure, you understand, the eyes. And once a particular part of the body is cut, the blood comes out. You expose the skin, to the external environment. So you have microorganisms that we don't see. They fly around. So once you open up the distance, it can enter. And what is coming here is the infection. So it doesn't. The contact lens on the other is the same. The body, especially the eye, which is very sensitive, it's not my feel anyway, but very sensitive. So anything you take there, the cells in the eye, they are very sensitive. They pick it within a twinkle of an eye, send it down to the system.
All right.
So,
Sorry, before you go on.
Okay.
There are cases where people have to use medicated contact lenses.
Yes, I agree with you.
Okay. So where is the balance with?
The balance is, this one is done by an expert.
Okay.
Who knows what to do.
Okay.
Even after fixation, is there a particular eye drop you need to use, to avoid reaction and the rest of them. And he prescribes and you get it. It's done by an expert. The other one is not done by an expert who doesn't even know the anatomical border, of the eye, the tissues, the structures. Okay, you fix eyelashes. Come and tell us the benefits. Come and tell us the implication. Nothing. This is where we are lacking the information. Information is lacking now. So nothing about it. What is the benefit? Okay, if I were to be a female or foreign, you understand, you need to convince me or on the benefits of the eyelashes. You need to convince me, maybe medical benefits and the rest of them, not just for beauty. Now, as I said, the benefits and the risk. If the benefits outweigh the risk, okay, fine. But whereby the risk outweigh the benefit, then I have to stay off for my good.
All right. So, generally speaking, with what we are wearing, especially, in fact, I've not talked about tight clothing.
Yes,
Some people
which also has implications too.
Yes. You have to explain that before we go to striking of the balance of all that we wear.
All right. Now, clothing is also an integral part of what we are discussing here. For example, in the society now, we see a lot of ladies wearing certain light, clothing and exposes parts of the body. Now, you see, you are also exposing parts of the body to sunburn. This can also lead to the same cancer we are talking about. Then, clothing, depending on the weather condition, there's a particular time, depending on the weather condition, as I've said, that you need a light clothing. There's also a particular time you need heavy clothing, maybe when it is cold or when it is hot. You understand? Because the skin, the body also needs air. So if you deny, the body of too much, it also has health implication. If it is too tight per time, it has health implication.
So what is the health implication of the tight clothing?
The tight clothing, for instance, now, let me tell you, well, I wouldn't, like in the mirror, for example. Well, it wouldn't really be directly to what we are discussing here. For instance, now, if a man puts on tight pants and tight clothing, down here, it affects the reproductive system.
Okay.
Because, as I said, there's a particular temperature around the body that is good for the man. Of course, it's health issue, so we have nothing to hide here. There's what we call the production of sperm in the body. So the temperature of the scrotum per time goes a long way in producing healthy cells or healthy sperm cells, as it were. So if the temperature there is too high, it even kills off the cells there.
Wow.
Then it leads to infertility.
Wow. That's a very, very...
Yes, it might not be directly to what we started here,
yes.
but you see, it's part of it, so
It's
any
part
other
of
person
it.
could benefit from it.
Yes, because
So,
it's not just
in
for
fact,
the male.
as a matter of fact now, fine, health and fashion, we advise a lot of men now to even go with boxers. That boxers could be better than the tight pants.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So you see, that's an example.
Yes. So perfect. It's not just for the, because someone like we're facing just the females who wear last.
Yes. It's unhealthy. It's every. Of course, we have all other, benefits. You understand? Now, in the society, I don't think anybody is against any woman looking good.
Exactly.
But the issue here is that on the process of looking good, you are now, exposing yourself to all manner of danger, so to say, because you want to look good. This is what it's all about. Of course, every person wants to look good.
Yeah.
Every man, every woman wants to look good. Who wants to look ugly? Nobody. But what we are saying is that on the process, you are now exposing yourself to something that tomorrow you now regret. For instance, there's one we have not mentioned here. The earring, the piercing also.
Yes.
Now, I have personally removed what we call keloid. You understand? Keloid from very many of them. In fact, some of them have lost the hair oil or whatever on the process. They had one before. Because of the same fashion now, they have gone to pierce more, and the instrument used, you can't, the sterility or the sterilization of it cannot be assured. Now, it has formed keloid and it grows. You understand? We have to do surgery, we have to do one construction or, the other. Where did they get it wrong? Because of the same fashion. If such lady was satisfied with the only one they saying, of course, whether you put on 20 earrings, you are a woman.
Yeah.
Whether you put on 40, you are a woman. Whether you put on 60, you are a woman. So it's as simple as that.
All right. There's an extension of what is happening these days that, people tend to change, their sex. Some people want to become females, and some people want to become males.
Transgender.
Transgender, they are turning into transgenders.
Yes.
Of course, some people have the money to do that, but what are the long-term effects of some of these things?
Wow. Very many. Medically, even beyond medical, you understand, which I can also seize the opportunity to tip in. Now, God created us, male and female. We wouldn't have any other sex than that. So, for what reason will I want to be female in the first place? Do you understand?
Yes.
It is not justifiable. So you are now like abusing the creation in the first place. Now, medically, here. Now, you see, it has to do with surgery. Remove this, put this, do that. Grafting, organ transplantation, and the rest of them will also be done. But would it last?
Okay.
This is the issue. Do you understand? It wasn't there naturally. I have to put it this way in a very simple term so that we can really understand. It wasn't there naturally. So, may I then be right to say that it could be an artificial part? Let's use a simple word. Artificial parts Yes, it could be created, no doubt. You understand? But the effects are also there. We wouldn't have time to start counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the rest of them, but the effects are also there. So nobody will advise any person to do that for the benefit of health. Leave your systems, leave your body naturally as it were. Then you stay as long as and enjoy the health equally. After all, it's all about changing from one sex to the other that makes you fulfill whatever kind of life you want to live. You can still fulfill your life, you can fulfill your destiny without doing all those things. People do it. You understand? Okay, now, in the facial makeup or whatever you are talking about,
Yes.
now, you will agree with me, for instance, in certain religious organization, like I'm a Christian. Now, I know of a certain religious organization that their women don't even use lipstick, they don't do this, they do that. Are they dying? Are they not beautiful enough? No, men still marry them. They still, fulfill destiny. They do whatever they want to do. Nobody questions them. You understand?
Yes.
So this is it. So we should now use all these things to strike the balance. Now, in conclusion,
Yes.
I wouldn't say a woman shouldn't do makeup. I am not also saying that a woman should not also indulge in one fashion, trend or the other. But the issue here is that I will advise they toy with caution. Seek the opinion of experts. You understand? Of course, always in the multitude of counsel, there is safety.
Of course.
So this is it. So you have to fix eyelashes. Of course, you have ophthalmologists, eye doctors all over this place here. Doctor, tell me, what are the health implications? I don't want to enjoy today and suffer tomorrow. You understand? Now I look good today, but tomorrow, because of the attempt to look good today, now I am suffering tomorrow. It can even lead to permanent disability, which and so on and so forth. Tell me. And the doctor will advise you, okay, if you have to do this, do it this way, do it the other way. Then that will pay us a lot.
Wow, we have heard it all from Dr. Akpan. Thank you so much for coming on
Thank
the
you.
program
Thank
today and helping us talk about all of these issues. That, please, in conclusion, I think what you have said is to tread carefully. I wear makeup, but as much as possible, I think
sorry to
Yeah.
put it, to tip in something here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, actually, in this part of the world, maybe because of time, as I said, this is not a topic we can just, the time is too short. So it's supposed to be like serial, you understand? So that some other time, now I will come with like pictures or maybe a little presentation for people to, understand. The education part of it, whatever you are educating the people of one day is not just enough. It has to be a continuous,
Definitely.
program
Definitely.
from time to time.
Yes.
Today could be of lipstick, tomorrow could be of eyelashes, next tomorrow, so that we can now dwell extensively for people to understand. Of course, don't forget we have many other health topics as well.
Yes.
So I will advise we create time so they can learn more, because it's really, really disturbing. It's really, really disturbing. We want our people, we want our beautiful women to stay long, to live long, to be able to carry out, their assignments or their daily, duties. Of course, in family line, the woman is the keeper of the house.
But before we go, finally, and you have to go.
Yes.
Let's talk about a little bit of some fashion trends in men. Maybe a little bit of, some things in men.
Which is still part of it.
Which is still part of it. Because we dwelt too much on women. What are other things men do? We've talked about the tight clothing.
Yeah, the tight clothing.
Yes.
The tight clothing, it wouldn't really be part of fashion trend per se.
It is, because a lot of men these days wear tight trousers, and it's fashion, actually.
Okay,
Wear tight
fine.
trousers.
Yes, I have mentioned one. Do you understand? But
Yeah.
we have also seen quite a lot of, things they do.
Yes.
For instance, the hairdo also.
Okay.
You have a lot of men now that, for instance, when I see them in the street, in fact, it takes time for me to identify that this is a man because of the hairdo.
Okay.
Now, if you have whatever hair this thing, some of them also fix ribbons, fix this and fix that, and so on and so forth. Now, are they taken care of? For instance, do you understand? It can introduce all manner of parasitic infection and so on and so forth.
But
You
women also fix.
Yeah, women fix. You understand? Women face, but we are talking about the men. Perhaps the way the woman takes care of her own, the man may not also take care of his own that way. You also have men also piercing
Yes.
the nose, the
Yes.
lips, and every other thing. It's still the same as well. You also have them also fixing nails or whatever. It's still the same. So whatever happens to the woman will also happen to the man in the process. So it doesn't mean because this one is a man or whoever bleaches gets skin cancer, whether man or woman, whether old or young. So it's the same.
All right, whatever happens to the woman, because it's almost like we are making it.
Yes, so it's like because we were mentioning female. No.
Yes.
It's a trend. It's for everybody. So whatever you want to do, seek the opinion of the expert, whether the man is involved or the woman is involved. And as I said, one thing we are really lacking in this part of the world is awareness creation. People are not really aware of so many things. And many a time also we fall victim of circumstances.
All right, so maybe people like us who also all the time wear makeup every day, but I think striking of the balance is where we have to clean it off.
Yeah,
right?
I still mention it is not every makeup that is harmful to health. I say it clearly here.
Yes.
So let the whole world hear.
Okay.
It is not every makeup. You have moderate makeup that is never harmful to health.
Okay.
You understand?
Yes.
So we are not against that. We are not mentioning that here.
Yes.
So I still want to say it so that the viewers or who are hearing wouldn't say that he says makeup. No, it is not every makeup. It is not every fashion that is harmful to health. But we have some, you understand, maybe the extreme of it that we know definitely is harmful. Do you understand?
Yes.
For instance, you wear high heel shoes. It's not good to wear it all the time. It will affect you.
All right, if I hear Dr. Akpan correctly, if you have to wear heels, wear it for a short period,
For a
at
short
least
period.
4 hours, 3
Yeah.
hours. You see, you don't see many of our ladies having their slippers. Somebody like me will do that all the all the time. I'll have my slippers and my shoes.
And I would also like to mention it here too. If you are to do that, okay, for instance, you drive, some drive also.
Yes.
While driving, you can do that with maybe slippers or any other flat shoe. Then you step into the hall, you are to do one presentation or seminar, then you can wear your high heel. And most conferences also don't really last long. Some do. Even while the conference is going on, if you are not making a presentation, you are sitting there, you can also change. Your handbag is there.
Yeah.
You understand? To relieve the feet, of certain pressures.
Yeah.
So that can also be done.
Yeah.
So you can check. You don't just go have something as a backup. Slippers is all over here. It can even be normal bedroom slippers. Some corners, we say nobody sees you. In your office, when you are not walking around, nobody sees you. So during such time, you take it off and relax. So it pays a lot.
All right, wear moderate makeup if you have to wear, and of course, once you're done with the makeup, just to keep your skin intact,
Yes.
you clean it off. And
Sure. Sure.
Clean it off. That's why you have your wipes. Clean it up, clean off the makeup, wear your heels for a scheduled number of hours. More like reiterating what Dr. Akpan has said. So for you who is just joining me at this moment, we're talking about fashion trends and their health implications. And I've been talking with Dr. Akpan in the studio, who is saying that a lot of things that we do have adverse effects. And of course, there are ways to moderately do certain things. Wear makeup moderately, wear shoes moderately, avoid too much piercings because it can eventually cause keloids.
We call it scarification.
Scarification.
Yes.
All the kinds of tattoos, because they might not be as sterilized as they should. And of course, contact lenses, if you must wear, it should be recommended by your eye doctor. And of course, the lashes and all that. We should try as much as possible to do everything in moderation, if I'm correct.
Sure.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Akpan, for
You're
coming
welcome.
to the studio, for giving us all these goodies.
It's my pleasure.
All right.
It's
So,
my
of
pleasure.
course, like you rightly said, we'll have you some other time to break down on some of these issues.
No
okay?
problem. No
Yeah.
problem.
All right, at this point, we'll have to go on this short break, and when we return, Hello Africa continues. Stay with us.